record. Hit start on the music. Let us begin. As I turn down the music. God damn it. I do that all the time, apparently. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an updated rating video. This is how we're going to do it for the foreseeable future. For any run that has a rating video already, like for example, Fire Emblem Warriors or Fire Emblem or Fire Emblem Awakening. Actually, that's a good question. Which two are it? But regardless, Fire Emblem Awakening, Fire Emblem Warriors 1, and both are gonna have this change, right? And yeah, from the looks of it, it's literally just that. Because yeah, I didn't really make any rating videos for season 1. It's literally just those two. So you'll get a nice big audit thing like you have for this one. And I didn't mean to close that, but whatever. Point is that it's time to talk Final Fantasy VII again. I swear to God, we won't be. Which is funny because the next, the next 5, including this one, are all going to be FF7 related, and that's loud in my ear. I feel like I'm yelling. Ugh. Obviously, I turned it down on OBS, but it was loud in my ear, so yeah. Anywho, let's see how long I'm going to be going for this one, because the previous one was like an hour and 17. See, this is why I shouldn't have frickin' closed that. Because, I kind of was going to reference it right away. Hey. Oh, I spent nearly 2 hours, so strap yourselves in, guys, because we might be here for a little bit longer than that. Granted, I didn't know what the hell I was doing back then, and so that might factor in. But for now, here we go. So the audit took an additional 10 sessions. We did use cheats, mostly for expediency, and honestly, I just kind of really enjoyed it. I just kind of wanted to show off a bunch of things. Mostly the cheat usage this time around was, well, yes, for expediency. It was also so that I could show off the limit breaks, because I showed off all of the limit breaks. Because I got everybody's limits on screen, so. So there you go. The score jumped insanely high. If you recall, FF7 originally scored a final score of plus 124, which was accomplished with a 63 to story, or 61 to story, I think, and a 63 to gameplay. Yeah, this time we're actually doing better this time. The game did much better, scoring 243, accomplished with a 107 to story and 136 to gameplay. Yeah, this is the highest gameplay score I will be giving the entirety of Final Fantasy. Which I'm sure a lot of people probably were expecting that to be Final Fantasy V because of how rich and awesome FF5's gameplay is. But FF5, dang it, there we go. But FF5, for the record, got, if you give me a moment. Funny enough, actually scored the lowest of the favorites. 8 of the 4 favorites in gameplay by a large portion. But to be fair, that's nothing to shirk at. I mean, come on, plus 63 to gameplay, that's higher than Cold Steel 3, for fuck's sakes. You know? Anyways, point is, we gotta talk story positives. There's a lot to go through, a lot of presentation that I did not give last time because I'm an idiot. Let's get into it. I only gave the sprite work 1 positive because I think the character models really do work. I understand that the Popeye look doesn't work for a lot of people, but for me it actually works. I gave 1 brickwork and 1 doodad usage. I gave 2 positives to the visual storytelling. The animations I also gave 2 positives to. I feel like even for the PS1, and for the fact that this is the first attempt, as I say, it's not the best for the PS1, but for our first attempt, yeah, I'd say it was about 2 positives, you know, especially in the full-on CG scenes. Then there's the use of the camera. Several times there's a lot of really great panning shots and usages of the camera. The iconic staring up at the Shinra building scene, the iconic panning up to see the northern crater. There's a lot of really awesome shots in this thing, so I gave it 2 positives. The music direction, I ended up giving a triple positive to because, yes, as I do think the music direction is on par with Final Fantasy IV. Which is high praise for me because I had a lot of I was very positive on the music direction of Final Fantasy IV. I gave a triple positive to the atmosphere and the tone, yes, separate. And I also decided to give the plot a triple positive because the plot flowed. There was no part of the plot where it feels like we were kind of just slamming on the brakes for an unrelated thing. Not really. Even the arc I have the most disdain for, which is the huge materia arc, for as much as I have disdain for that section of the game, I can't say that it doesn't fit, you know? Speaking of, the story sequencing is something that in hindsight, and nearly 2 years of reviewing games after the initial run, is something that I felt needed to be given a triple positive. So, there you go. I gave the storyboarding 2 positives, as well as the internal continuity. The visual continuity, on the other hand, because of all of the changes that happen especially on the world map, that's a triple positive, because there's so many changes, right? There's, on the world map, you'll see constant changes. The Temple of the Ancients disappearing. Midgard getting the Junon cannon later. The barrier over Northern Crater. The barrier disappearing over Northern Crater. The change to the landscape when you defeat Ultimate Weapon. I'm pretty sure Rocket Town's on-field sprite changes after the rocket is launched on Disc 2. Meteors in the sky constantly on Disc 2 and 3. And that's all just right off the top of my head. 7 big changes right off the top of my head. That's impressive. And considering how much work and effort that takes, goddamn, that is worthy of a triple positive. Actually, Medeal's another one. Actually, there's 8, because I just remembered Medeal, right? Medeal is there. Livestream boils up. Medeal is gone, and you just see a pool of Mako right there. Yeah. I gave specifically Disc 1's, Disc/Part 1's, and pacing a triple positive. Here's the funny thing with me and pacing, okay? There are times where I feel like the pacing of a specific section can be worthy of praise. It doesn't happen very often. But with Disc 1 of Final Fantasy VII, I feel like the pacing is just so beautifully butter smooth. There is no part where it feels like it's jerking to a stop. The only time you can really argue that it jerks to a stop is if you go and you do the Stolen Materia side quest. But I'd just like to draw your attention to to the fact that I can't get a fucking Kleenex without shit falling on me. Hey, I'll keep talking while I pick these up. There's one specific word I want to draw your attention to. In that sentence. Side quest. Fuck. Sorry. The past couple of weeks, from my perspective, have been a fucking shit show. You won't be seeing this until January, so just know that my December has been a shit show. One moment. My bad. Where was I? Oh yes, the excellent pacing of Disc 1. So Disc 1 has great pacing. Love it. Alright, so the themes, very good. You know, negligent corporations and that which is arguably more relevant today than it's ever been. Although I will go ahead and say, hey, I would argue there are more American companies that are who don't give a fuck about things than Japanese ones, but whatever. So, then there's the great foreshadowing that's just all over the place, so that's really good. I didn't feel it warranted more than one positive, both the themes and the foreshadowing, but they are still there, they are still good. Babylon 5 effect. Full force here, triple positive, hell yeah. Yeah, the more I think about it and the more that's revealed, I feel like I understand this story better. You know, where the story has a different meaning the second time through, and you can catch more things. Yeah. I feel the world building is excellent throughout. As this feels like a world that could actually exist. Two positives. Gameplay story integration, triple positive. I really don't feel like I need to explain that. The NPC chatter. Now, I define banter and NPC chatter very differently. Banter for me is between the party members. NPC chatter is what I call what the townsfolk are saying, right? So you go up to a townsfolk and they say, hey, I'm very proud that my daughter's getting married, or something like that. That's NPC chatter. And it's really good in this game, triple positive. Now, despite the translation being wonky, even back on the PS1, I still feel the dialogue is good. And with the touched up translation, I do actually feel it warrants a triple positive. Positive. I know some people say the translation is not very good. And I will say the localization is not very good in the modern versions. The translation is a lot better, though. Party members adding their own unique flavor to scenes throughout the game. I gave the humor 2 positives, as there was times where the game made me laugh. So, there you go. However, I will say this, there is excellent Devil May Cry effect on display here. Here, because like FF6, the silliness's absence would make the story feel far less than it otherwise does as with it there. You know, after all, there are several goofy moments that people remember, including the entire wall market section, for example. And as such, yeah, I feel like this aspect of the storytelling gets a triple positive. Okay. Yeah, just if you want an example of a storyline that I feel could have had more silliness injected into it to make it better, look at FF16. Look, I know FF16 has a lot of fans. I don't care. Fuck that game. Fuck that nihilistic garbage that says life is fucking meaningless and you should shove a knife in your throat. That's what FF16 is fucking saying. And on that note, 56 overall presentation positives on story. A lot better than last time. I'll go ahead and say that. And hey, this document is actually organized this time. I'm going to have to do that. I'm actually going to have to do that for any audit run that I do in the future, or planning to do in the future. Make sure they're organized. Very few documents are actually going to need much organizing, weirdly enough. Anywho, let's get to the characters. Cloud, 2 positives. Look, I don't care what you want to fucking say. I watched Advent Children. I played FF7. I watched Advent Children. He is an emo in Advent Children. He is not an emo in the here in fucking in 7 original. Fuck that reputation. 2 positives to Cloud. Barrett, another character who deserves 2 positives. Great example of a regular guy trying his best to fight for a cause he believes in when all he really wants to do is just be a normal dad deep down. And the love of his cause conflicts with his desires and is presented very well. 2 positives. Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge had collectively gained a positive, as I feel they are fun characters and feel like a solid team with Barrett. At the very least, feel that even in the OG FF7, they deserve a positive. We might be expanding that to multiples for Jesse going forward. But we'll see, you know. Here we go. While I don't like her as much as the rest of the internet, Tifa is a great character with great growth, and honestly, if I was reviewing the remake, yeah, she would be a solid full 3 positives. But for now, I'm going to give her 2 positives. I do feel like Tifa is a good character. I do feel like there's still some hang-ups, and I still feel like the internet has overblown her to insane proportions, you know? She is not one of my favorite characters of all time, just like Cloud isn't. But I still feel there's a lot of, potential there for Tifa to be awesome. And how fitting that I'm talking about Tifa while her theme is playing. And, And if you give me a moment, I'm actually curious about something. Oh, wow, I actually did kind of ruin it, but I think that part is fitting there. It's the same general idea I had with Celeste. But yeah, I do agree that Terra, for example, in 6, is a better character than Tifa. Just my opinion. Still a good character. President Shinra, while a simple character, nevertheless... Oh, God. I started talking about President Shinra right when Barrett's theme came up. How's that for irony? Those that have played the remake know what I'm talking about. Anyways, President Shinra, while a simple character, nevertheless is a great example of callous corporate evil. He cares about his company's bottom line, and honestly, not much else. So, if it'll make Shinra more money, the planet can burn for all he cares, and that's good. That's a good way to kind of present that kind of corporate evil, you know? I don't care what anybody says, Aerith is a triple positive. I freaking adore her. And yes, she will be a triple positive in the remake. Spoilers. Yeah, I doubt you're going to be able to talk me out of that one. Aerith's adoptive mom, Elmira, is actually an interesting character for me. And then there's Hojo. Oh, fucking Hojo. Great example of a character that you hate because you're supposed to, and a great example of the evil scientist trope. He is evil in all of the right ways. Which makes it okay, hang on. He's evil in all the right ways. Which makes it cathartic to bring him down. He is despicable in all the... Okay, hang on. Let me reword that. His evil makes it cathartic to bring him down. There we go. I apparently could not make good words. I cannot make good words, you know? Red 13, 2 positives for him. Really like Red 13. Rufus was interesting as a villain. I ended up liking Vincent. Sid, despite his questionable treatment of Shara. I feel Sephiroth is very well characterized as a villain. So that's good. And that's it for the characters. Next up. Now for moments. Only 21 positives to characters, but that's okay. This is still a good cast. The flashback of the promise, the one that happens in 7th Heaven, that's a good bit of foreshadowing and a good establishment of them. Then there's President Shinra's establishment scene, just before he sicks Airbuster on the party. That's a good one. Which is also added with the first of many excellent uses of the Shinra theme. Yes, I actually did feel like the Shinra theme warranted a story positive, because the way they use the Shinra theme is to really emphasize Shinra's evil, which is good. And then there's Wall Market, which is a fun little romp that shows Aerith thinks on her feet well, and is one of the many instances of Cloud being exposed as the dorky warrior he is. And I will be adoring many aspects of Wall Market in the remake, believe you me. Then there's the whole bit if you get Cloud to be chosen by Don Corneo. I didn't do it this time. I actually went ahead and did... Shit, which one did I get picked? Aerith. I'm pretty sure I got Aerith picked. It was either Aerith or Tifa. So there's that. But yeah. It is funny when Cloud gets chosen, though. I, of course, did that because in the original, because I was going for the best bromance trophy. Then there's the destruction of Sector 7, which is just beautifully horrifying. The screams of the people when the plate falls, the news anchor's cast disrupted. I guess I should say broadcast. As doesn't really matter too much, but the news anchor's broadcast is being disrupted. It disrupted as he is crushed, and President Shinra is just standing there watching the chaos unfold while listening to classical music. Yeah, triple positive. I also gave the aftermath a triple positive, because it just helps sell the destruction itself. As you feel the weight of Barrett's grief and his need to blame Shinra for it. Make no mistake, he's right. Shinra are responsible for this. But you really feel like he needs to blame anyone. And Shinra is just other than himself. In that moment. Because in that moment, until Tifa says anything to the contrary, he believes Marlene is dead too. That's powerful. This is wonderfully dark in a great way that FF16 constantly fails at. This is how you do properly dark. FF16 is darkier and edgier in my opinion. FF7 is darkness done right. And I will die on that hill. Then there's the whole scene with Elmira, which is really good at introducing the ancients to the plot, to the Cetra to the plot, so that's good. And it has some good characterization of Barrett to boot. This is where the whole he needs to fight for the planet, but he also just wants to be with Marlene all the time comes in. And great stuff. Then there's the meeting scene. This is the one in the Shinra building that introduces us to Hojo. Hell yeah. Yeah. It demonstrates his character perfectly and honestly gets better for me the more times I go through it. Then there's the scene where he reveals that he plans to breed Eris and Red 13. Excuse me while I fight the urge to puke briefly. Which, if you didn't catch that Hojo was evil before, well, you're aware of it now. He's basically forcing two sentient beings to try to fuck. Which, in many circles, is rape. Yeah. Yeah, as long as you're paying attention, even if you didn't catch it in the meeting, which is fine. Because, oh yes, we're going to breed her. You could literally just be saying, oh, I'm going to introduce her to some dudes and, you'll pay her to fuck him or something, Which is still disgusting, but it's certainly better than forcing a dog-like a creature to fuck a woman, Ugh. It's still evil. I'm not trying to excuse Hojo. I'm just trying to demonstrate how somebody could overlook that he's evil in the meeting scene. The Trail of Blood scene. Now, I skipped ahead through a lot of the playlist. There's quite a bit before we get to Trail of Blood. What? Hang on. Wow, Trail of Blood is way far down on the playlist. Yeah, it's song 36. And we're on song 9 for the record. Huh. That's annoying. Anyways, Trail of Blood scene, which I call it that because the song that's played is nice and chilling and leads to a great moment where we learn just how deadly Sephiroth is, despite the fact we have yet to even see him at this point. Hell, we didn't even get a name for him until Cloud says his name after the I am a member of the Ancients thing. You know, the voice in his head. That was the first time we ever heard the name. Then there's Rufus's introduction, which is awesome and really highlights how he intends to run Shinra and how different he is from his dad. Then there's the entire... Then this is where I conclude my view of the intro, which is at the end of the Midgar, or all the Midgar stuff. So, I feel it's a great intro to the story. The world, the world, and the major conflict that will be the crux of the story. It introduces the entire mandatory playable party, save for Sid, Hidden Kate Sith. It introduces Shinra and their deal. And it introduces Sephiroth, while hinting that he's no hero despite being against Shinra. To be honest, with everything that happens, I feel the fact that Midgar is just the intro makes it worthy of a full 3 positives. As I said on stream, making the first part of your remake trilogy just focused on Midgar could have worked if you flushed it out. Just for like a 20-hour game instead of an 40 to 80-hour game, you know? Like, imagine if it was just short and there was a whole bunch of stuff to do. Like, imagine if if it was like 30 hours on the high end for completing everything, right? And it's not like shorter Final Fantasies can't work. Just look at Stranger of Paradise, which takes about 17 hours if you're not, going for 100%. Which I didn't because, seriously, screw Stranger of Paradise for the most part. Then there's Cloud's Past, which, okay. Hey, it is a great look into Cloud's perspective on the Nibelheim incident, and a great look into how messed up Sephiroth is. The problem for me is that it is boring when all you want is get back to the awesome gameplay. I honestly don't think this section is good enough to not be boring on a third playthrough and beyond. So, that's why I acknowledge it's good, but I'm not going to give it multiple positives. A story section for me, getting a triple positive is, I love going through it every single freaking time, I love going through Midgar every single freaking time I play FF7, right? Absolutely adore going through it, because it's such an awesome story beat, finding out Hojo is evil, yes! Bringing him down, yes! Yes, all great stuff. Cloud's Past is boring, and honestly, I almost feel like I would want to give it a negative, but the problem is that it's well done. Cloud's Past is, to me, what the Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode Waltz is to the Lore Runner, if you understand the distinction. Then there's Those Chosen by the Planet, which was meant to be Sephiroth's theme, hence why it plays in almost all of his scenes. But I do feel it is good at it. They use it well to show his slow descent into madness, so that's cool. Which culminates in the chanting kicking in and indicating that Sephiroth has officially descended into villainy, so that's great. Then there's Barrett's backstory, which is a great example of the manipulative evil Shinra represents. And it's with good comments from the party. Even Yuffie, frankly, since she has good reasons to not trust Shinra. Playing around with Zack or no when she was 9. I kind of hate that entire thing. Anyways. Then here's another great example of a scene I love going through every time I go through this thing. The whole confrontation with Dyne. It shows Barrett's regret and the depth of his friendship with Dine. It also shows how broken down by Shinra's evil Dine has become, as we see. I was so tempted to look at my phone when that popped up. Anyways, where was I? It also shows us how broken down by Shinra's evil Dine has become, as we see that he has slipped into madness. And without Marlene, you know, Barrett could have easily have gone down that same route. His hands ain't any cleaner, after all. Triple positive. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Then there's the Cosmo Canyon section. I love the Cosmo Canyon section. Just all of the stuff. Just all of the stuff, you know? Of. And I love that it's less about. It's less the idea of nature being superior to tech. It's just keep nature in mind when you're advancing your tech, you know? Oh, I like that. So the more I consider it, the more it's a triple positive. Then there's the Planet Life presentation by Bugenhagen. I like that entire thing. It kind of sucks that Eris is the only one that has special animations during it, but I suppose that makes sense. Then there's the reveal of the truth about Red 13's dad, which was another triple positive scene. That was really good. I really liked that scene. I do like the scene after you defeat Godo in the pagoda. Hoda, it's just the ending kind of taints it a little bit. Then you've got the dates. I like the gold date saucer with Eris. Great dive into her character and how she feels about Cloud. And has always been why I felt like she fit with him more than Tifa. Now, to be fair, that has shifted over time where I feel she works better with. Did I really just insinuate that I think Aerith and Tifa should be the couple? Whoops. No, that he works better with Tifa now. I do like the Aerith dates, though, so triple positive there. And I also gave the gold saucer date with Tifa here in the original a positive. I just wish there was more to it than that, than just what is here. Thank you, Rebirth, for expanding on that. And yes, I have been spoiled a bit on the Tifa date in Rebirth. Spoilers, I guess. Then the story positives kind of stagnate until we get to the moment. First and foremost, I love the fact that you have to hit the button to attack Aerith. That's good. Alright. God damn it, where is it? It's all the way down here? Are you fucking serious? Ugh. I'm doing it. I have to have this song playing for Aerith's death. Put the memes aside. Put the jokes aside. And put aside the fact that I have seen this a few dozen times. It is still just as good as I remember. The CG scene, the dialogue, the music. music. All of that makes this the classic tragedy that it was always meant to be. I give this scene all of the fucking props. I understand that for some, it's ruined because of memes. And that's fair. There's a lot of things that are ruined for me because the internet won't stop fucking clowning on it. It's one of the reasons why I take so many jabs at Steve, even these videos. Why I will continue to do so. Because he is depleting the joy supply. He is sucking it out like a fucking Mako reactor. But putting that aside, I also want to give special praise to the animations of the party's reactions to her death, as everyone has a different reaction, and it really does help flesh them out as three-dimensional characters. Particular shoutouts to Red 13's Howl, Tifa running off crying, and Yuffie trying and failing to stop herself from just bursting into tears. God fucking damn it. It hits. Which is also helped by the fact that over at Icicle Inn, you can actually see Professor Gast's videos, which kind of show how evil, which kind of add to the story, and kind of show off how knowledgeable Aerith's birth mother was. Damn, it's freaking hitting me. Yeah. Might actually have to do some editing of the document because of that negative thing, but yeah. I'm never going to dog on this. Dog on this scene ever. And you can quote me on that. Let us continue. So, as I said, the optional scenes where you can learn about Professor Gast. Good stuff. Also, despite hating it with a burning passion, I have to admit that the reunion scene is great as a fake twist that gets revealed to be wrong later. It's just, well, we'll get there in the negatives, and that's me being generous, by the way, as I do have my issues with it. Then there's the scene where Weapon awakens. That whole CG scene is just awesome. Then there's Weapon attacking Junon. I love that entire section. I also gave 2 positives to Tifa and Scarlet having that slap fight. So satisfying to slap the smug off of that bitch's face. I'm kind of, which is funny because that slap fight actually reminds me of a scene from Digimon Adventure. Specifically the fight between Angelwomon and Lady Devimon. I know I shouldn't be watching this, but I can't look away. And then Kari's just yelling out, yeah, that's right, Angelwomon, knock her damn block off. It's like, god damn. Somebody really wants to see the evil devil lady beaten. Also, Mega Kabuterimon blocking a stab attempt. You broke it! Okay, Oh, send me the bill. God. Mm. Anywho, let's continue. Then there's Cloud Subconscious, which was a triple positive. I love this entire section. So the section itself was a triple positive, and I gave a triple positive to the reveal that Cloud was actually at Nibelheim. The pacing of the scene, which is ironic given what story -1 is going to be, mixed with the music direction and the fact that it answers several questions easily makes it one of my favorite scenes. Not just my favorite scene in FF7, excuse me, but one of my favorite scenes in all of fiction. And I do mean that sincerely. I love that scene. I would still do something different with Cloud and the others in my setting, but that's because why fuck with perfection, you know? Then there's the Shinra 26 portion of the Huge Materia arc, which is actually really nice and well done. It shows a bit of Sid's growth, and his farewell to number 26 is touching, and he even started softening when it comes to Shara. It might not be much, but headcanon can fill in the rest. We'll talk about it more in the negatives. Then there's the reveal that Aerith prayed for Holy, well, requiring a MacGuffin from the sea. Even though it requires a MacGuffin from the sea, which the game doesn't tell you about, it is still a great scene and gives the characters hope. So, cool. Then there's the firing of the Shinra cannon. I know some people have some problem with that scene, with Diamond Weapon and all that. I don't know. I just feel like it's fine. And I feel like it's fine. And honestly, I kind of feel like there would have been, like, honestly, we've seen the cannon do damage to it, right? I get the idea that that it's coincidental that Diamond Weapon actually got hit by that cannon blast, but still, you know? I really like this, so that was two positives for me. I like the scene where we go parachuting into Midgar to stop Hojo. That's a cool scene. Despite some other issues with it, I also love the added flavor that Vincent provides. That shouldn't. That's worded badly. I love the added flavor that Vincent provides. Really, come on. Provides if you bring him to the Hojo fight. Since you're goddamn right he deserves the catharsis after all he's been through. Now, if only he didn't learn Lucrezia was a fucking cunt who couldn't keep her panties on in Dirge of Cerberus. We'll get there. Then there's Cloud and Tifa's heart-to-heart, or at the end of Disc/Part 2. Great scene. Then there's Bugenhagen. Then there's Bugenhagen's death, which was very nice. One Wing Angel is a good song for expressing Sephiroth's madness. Not as good as Dancing Mad, but I will still give it props where it's due. And the Cloud vs. Sephiroth 1v1 cutscene fight really, really is good. And I also want to give props to the optional Zack scene, even though I didn't show it off in the audit run. But it is still good and still worthy of a plus. 151 story positives. Not the most story positives we've ever seen, but definitely a large amount of positives. God damn, how long did that take me to get through? 49 minutes? And it's to get through. Ooh, it just went to 49 right now. 49 minutes? Just for the story positives? God damn. The story negatives won't take me nearly as long, I promise. It's because I have a lot fewer of them. But here we go. Alright, so Disc Last Part 2, bad pacing. I don't like the pacing on Disc 2. I feel it's all over the place, as I feel like it's got a bit too much of the herky-jerky pacing that I don't like. And this is why I'm probably going to have to remove those numbers from the positives, as there are more than a few coincidences and contrivances for my liking. And then there's some cutscene incompetence. It doesn't happen very often, but it happens occasionally. There are several good character and setting defining scenes that are hidden behind doing certain things with certain characters, or in a spot one would not think to go at the time that it is necessary for viewing them. The optional Zack scene comes to mind immediately. Then there's empty text on occasion, which just irks me. It's mostly with Yuffie, admittedly, but it's still there. It still needs to frickin' and be called out, my opinion. Then there's fake drama in regard to several scenes that are not as tense as they should be, or are dispelled almost immediately. And then, while it is not rampant, several scenes needed a touch up to get across the nuance of the scene, and didn't, which is a failure of the localization. So there you go, I acknowledge that the localization is not great. 7 presentation negatives. Told you there was a lot less. Now let's get into the characters I didn't like. Don Corneo, he's great on paper, but most of what this perverted mob boss amounts to is a one-note gag that goes nowhere outside of the admittedly amusing event if Cloud is chosen when you infiltrate his mansion. He is supposed to be pathetic, but there is just nothing engaging about him in the OG FF7. And I will have to actually pay attention to the remake to see if there's anything even remotely interesting about him other than Fred Teskiri's voice acting in the remake. There probably won't be. Then there's Heidegger, who is such a waste as a villain. And as for me, reading his dialogue is an exercise in frustration. Never mind that all he does in the story is insult other characters and laugh. Eject him from this version, and you replace him with just a yes man for Rufus, and the narrative literally doesn't change at all. And then when Rufus dies, he just takes over, which, if legit, a la he's the VP, then that paints Rufus as a paint thinner guzzling moron, which just makes things even fucking worse, because this guy's not good at anything. Triple negative for his usage in the plot and the fact that I fucking hate his character. Then there's Sung being inconsistent across all of his appearances in the game, which leads to some minor plot holes later in the game, admittedly. Elmira's flashback, his supposed friendship with Eris, it's all inconsistent, and I really fucking hate him. Now, originally, as you probably see on screen there, I originally had it as just Sung and the Turks being inconsistent, but then a certain someone pissed me off enough to warrant her own negative. But we'll get there after the next cunt I want to talk about, Scarlet. She's barely used until part 2, where she is just evil for evil's sake. Also, she's dumb enough to admit while the cameras roll that the blame is just being pinned on Barrett and Tifa, just fucking cuz. Then there's the arrogance that she displays out the frickin' wazoo. Now, I get it, people are fucking stupid, and that part of her admitting that the execution is a sham on camera doesn't mean anything in these. It wouldn't mean anything if she did that in, say, in our modern society, but I mean, you literally can have a dude make fun of a fucking medically disabled person, somebody who's suffering from mental degradation. He shouldn't be mocked. It'd be mocked on live TV, and then get elected twice as president. That's as far as I want to go with that. And I don't even want to touch the fucking rest of his shit. So yeah, Scarlet just needs to go the fuck away. Triple negative. And no, I would not stick my dick in her even in the remake. Like, look, I have a very simple rule. I don't stick my dick in crazy or sluts. And Scarlet is both. She's out of her goddamn mind, and she's clearly a slut. Now let's move on from a slut to a simp. Imp, shall we? Elena, thinking on it, deserves a separate negative. Admittedly, all of the Turks suffer from inconsistencies in their portrayal, but Elena is consistently shown as an incompetent dumbass that thinks with her vagina. I know. And it gets old after a while. The irony here is that the only thing that is consistent about Elena is that she sucks and wants to bang Sung. And yes, I have no problem believing that that's her wanting to have sex with Sung, not to, date and marry him. No, she wants to bump uglies with him, and that's it. Whether or not anything would actually, if that relationship would go anywhere, I have no idea. But frankly, I just don't care. We'll see how she is in Rebirth. We'll see. Then there's Yuffie. Well, originally I had her as a positive. Yeah, her side quests. Well, no, just the stolen materia side quest cemented her as a negative. Later on in the OG timeline, she apparently becomes the heart of the team, but honestly, I don't think she gets any better. I really don't. She's neutral in Dirge Cerberus, and she's irritating in Crisis Core. So, yeah, no, I have no care for that character. For this character. I'm sorry. I gotta be honest with you. I don't see what everybody else sees in Yuffie. She's not interesting, she's not engaging, and frankly, she's just more annoying. At least if they had actually kept Christy Carlson Romano as Yuffie past Advent Children, maybe I could have, and she was given better voice direction and dialogue, it could have frickin' worked. But no, instead we get that Mae Whitman, who is frankly overrated in the role. I'm sorry. I don't see what everybody else sees in Mae Whitman's portrayal of Yuffie. I don't. Why does everybody fucking love Mae Whitman as Yuffie? I don't get it. She's fine as a voice actress, do not mistake me, but Jesus Christ, people, you talk as if you found the definitive voice. I'm sorry, this is not Keith David as Goliath or Jonathan Frakes as Xanatos. Or Kevin Conroy as Batman, and that thought just made me sad. God damn it. Moving on. Because I've got more to bitch about. Because now we're at Kate Sith. The character I hate the most in this entire game. No question. Kate Sith. Much like Ultros in Final Fantasy VI, if you like the humor, he's hilarious, and his actions at the end of the Temple of the Ancients are emotionally resonant. If you don't find him funny, then he is just a fucking irritant. I find him insufferable. Even in this game, he is rude, abrasive, and is completely different from Reeve, even just in this game. And frankly, his continued presence is just aggravating. When a fucking parody series does a better job of characterizing him, you know you fucked up to the tune of a triple negative. I showed this off in the original thing. I literally played a scene from Team 4 Star's FF7 Mission Abridged. To show that series characterized Kate Sith better, because there was a whole fucking scene that did better characterization for the party, no less, as well as for Kate Sith. When they're all bitching about how about why the fuck Kate Sith is still there, which basically is just a gun to Marlene's head in the original, which is fucking stupid and paints Reeve as evil, by the way. Hey, they try to make this whole thing of he can't quit Shinra because he cares about the people of Midgar, but fuck that. Just straight up fuck that. You know? Ugh. Like, seriously. Seriously, I can't remember which one it is, but like, go look up Team 4 Stars Machine Abridged series, and when you get to the scene where they're heading to the Temple of the Ancients, I fucking love the entire beginning of that episode. Because I fucking hate my job speech. If Kate Sith had something like that, I'd be able to take him more seriously, but he doesn't, so fuck him. And frankly, I don't think Kate Sith is any better in Dirge of Cerberus either. We'll get to the other side of Kate Sith's bullshit a bit later, but that's it for the character negatives. 13 character negatives, not very many. But I did need to bitch about Kate Sith, because Jesus fucking Christ. At least, why does anybody like Kate Sith? Then there's Nibelheim being back, being rebuilt, and full of Shinra actors. That is just fucking stupid. Triple negative. Negative. It's literally just let's mindfuck Cloud. We'll see how Rebirth handles it. And I might be giving negatives to Rebirth for it. Then there's Sid's treatment of Sid. Now, originally this was part of an aggregate, but I decided to expand this one. Because, oh fuck. Sid's treatment of Shara is not good, and can easily be read as abusive. He does get better, but we never see his behavior improve on screen, and that bugs me. As there really should have been a scene where they hash out the issues so we can have Sid full on admit to him to being in the wrong. Which, let's be clear, he is. Shara did nothing but bend over backwards to serve him, to make his life better, because she felt guilty. And he never even acknowledges that she's doing it because she wrecked my dream. Especially considering that Shara's sin is trying to make sure that tank number 8 doesn't fuck him over, which it would have. Now, he does acknowledge it during the Shinra 26 section, but honestly, an optional follow-up would have been so much better. Just an optional follow-up where if we go to Rocket Town after the Shinra 26 and you know go to Rocket Town with Sid in our party, Sid's like, look, Cloud, can you guys wait outside? I gotta talk to Shara. It's personal. And it's like, yeah, no, it's cool. Take your time, Sid. We'll wait outside. And then just have him just pour his guts out and say, look, Shara, I'm sorry. I have been a fucking asshole. Well, I don't know where this accent's coming from. I've been a fucking asshole. You deserve better. You don't need to keep serving. You don't need to keep serving me tea and shit. You can ditch at any time. And that's 100% understandable. You do not need to forgive me. I'd understand if you didn't. To be blunt. And then maybe have Shara just kind of quietly admit, no, it's fine. I don't mind because I understand I screwed up after all, and it's like maybe okay, yeah, sure, or you were a little slow on checking tank 8, but tank 8 would have fucked me over regardless. And by the way, I would literally put that in that dialogue. By the way, I literally would have a censored out tank 8 would have fucked me over, like the symbols and then ed at the end. And I literally would have put that there. I would have been like, yeah, tank 8 would have fucked me over without you checking it. You saved my goddamn life, and I've been too much of an abrasive, abusive asshat to understand that. Now, granted, you could even just use that as a jumping off point of Shara saying, yeah, no, it's fine. I understand. And then maybe have Sid be like, well, you still got engineering skills. Can I hire you on as an engineer? And maybe have that be where Shara is on the high wind. And everybody's like, Shara? And it's like, Sid has asked me to be the High Wind's new engineer. Oh, well, welcome aboard. And then just have that be the end of it, right? The party doesn't need Sid to explain nothing. Maybe even have Sid be like, what's going on? Welcome aboard, Shara. Good to have you. And then they just move, and then Shara's just like, thank you. And then goes off to do her work. That would have been brilliant. I would so do that, by the way. Like in Rebirth, I literally, maybe not in Rebirth, but in like the third one, I'd literally have that be a scene. Yuffie starts to protest, Cloud's just like, welcome aboard, Shara. And then that's the end of it. End of it. End of it. Anywho, moving on. Then there's the Stolen Materia side quest. Oh, Lord. Now that I've wasted a whole bunch of time on that. The Stolen Materia side quest. Oh, boy. From a story perspective, its pacing is annoying, the Turks steal the show in the worst way, and Don Corneo of all characters is the villain. So, which is of course to say that he is the villain if we don't count Yuffie as the villain, or one of them. He is one of them, and it's fucking stupid, Also, the side quest reveals Corneo is a pedophile on top of everything. Because, we so fucking needed that to be a thing. Yes, I know about about sexual consent laws as in Japan. Just don't. Just fucking don't. The dude's clearly in, like, his 30s, and he is basically wanting to fuck a teenager. That's gross, okay? I don't care. He's initiating it, okay? So this is different from Persona 5. In Persona 5, it's less gross because, one, that nothing really sexually explicit is on display in the thing. That's all just, porn on the internet portraying that. But in Persona 5 proper, it's Ren that has to initiate the frickin' relationship in, like, every case. It's Joker that has to do that. Granted, I prefer my preferred OTP is Makoto and Joker, but that's beside the point. Queen and Joker, there's an interesting combo. But yeah, no, I really fucking hate this side quest. It's a triple negative, and it's even more annoying on gameplay, but we'll get there. The scene with Godo after his boss fight works, but it also has farting and Godo being a dick and encouraging Yuffie to steal our materia again. So yeah, that scene was a positive and a negative. Then there's the reveal that Kaseth is a traitor. I hate that scene. I have always hated that scene. I mean, and I understand that I'm the only one who fucking hates that scene. I know. I know I'm the only one who fucking hates that scene, even though it makes no fucking sense. And it's when you stop and you think about it. Because, so, first off, it goes nowhere, and it gets completely ignored, even though this really should have been where Kaseth ends. Now, for me, if Kaseth, as a party member, ended at the Temple of the Ancients, I would have been fine with this. Like, if the Temple of the Ancients had been his last dungeon, and it was mandatory that you bring Eris and Kaseth, I know that would have sucked. But at least that would have had some story relevance. Right? Or even, as I had mentioned earlier during his triple character negative, if he had had a similar breakdown to the one he has in Team 4 Stars FF7 Machine Abridged, this scene would have worked wonderfully. As is, fuck this scene and everything about it. It pisses me off so much that, yeah, it's a triple negative, you know? Because at least him coming back is a comedic bit in a parody, you know? Ugh. Then there's Kaseth's sacrifice. Okay. I just had to make sure that I wasn't screwing this up. Then there's Kaseth's sacrifice. Which is treated as heartwarming and tragic, but is really stupid and full of fake pathos. First, Kaseth is a fucking traitor who stabbed us in the back like 1 or 2 hours of gameplay ago, and has done nothing to indicate that he even feels remotely bad about it. And now we have to just trust him? Some dialogue revealing we're doing this reluctantly would have been nice, instead of Aerith just trusting him outright as she does. Also, it's the death of a mass-produced toy that lasts 10 seconds. Like, literally, Kaseth 2 just shows up during Cloud's freaking breakdown, and it's just, no, fuck that shit. And on top of that, Kaseth's dialogue tries to play on the idea that the doll has a mind of its own, but that is literally contradicted by past and future dialogue. As I said, if Kaseth stopped being a party member, or at the very least, he's waited to be a party member again until we got access to the High Wind, this could have been smoothed over. He just rejoins immediately, and as such, yeah, no, that's just no. Triple negative. Then there's the reunion being too mindfucky for my taste. Don't misunderstand me, it deserves the positive I gave it, but I still feel it's a little overblown in terms of the weird. Now, despite my praise for the Shinra 26 portion in story positive 118, let me just quickly make sure of that. 118. Oh, wow. I'm actually wrong. 118 is not the Shinra 26 scene. Where is it? It's 139. Oh, man. Okay. Okay, let's just change the numbers live. God damn it. Alright, so 139, the reunion is 135. Negative 35. There we go. And then I need... and then I need the number for... Or Sid. 24 is the negative I need to... Give me a second here. 24, and then I need to scroll down to... This is what's going to make this one longer. Longer is me trying to do this one. Do this like this. That one's fine. Hang on. Okay. Actually, I think we're good there. There. So, where was I? There we go. Sorry, that was gonna bug me, so I had to fix that. It's why I have the music playing during these for shit because of shit like that, you know? So that way music can keep playing while I'm doing this. So, despite the praise that I gave the Shinra 26 portion of it in positive 139, the huge materia arc feels wrong to me. Shinra is trying to blow up Meteor, and we're messing with them simply because it's Shinra. It just seems a little dickish to me, if you ask me. Now, it is explained, right? It is explained because we want to use that power to defeat Sephiroth, and I get that. I feel like there should have been at least a little bit more of a discussion about it, you know? Because it feels like too much like a morally gray thing is treated as black and white. Whoops, sorry. I feel like a morally gray situation like this is treated as black and white, and it's yeah, no, it's just a little weird, you know. So, yeah. Then you mix that with the fact that the pacing is interrupted halfway through by Cloud's subconscious, and has lackluster pacing in general. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of the huge materia arc. Then there's the Lucrezia scene, giving us absolutely fucking nothing of relevance, and is never really followed up on until Judge Cerberus, and yeah, that's divisive to say the least. Yeah. Then there's Heidegger and Scarlet attacking us just because we're the enemy, even though Hojo's trying to fucking kill us all. Oh, you morons. Ugh, triple negative. And then the one that's gonna make everybody fucking hate me forever. I gave the ending a triple negative. I feel it is awful. it is the worst FF7 ending I have ever seen. Only one I haven't seen yet is Rebirth's, to be honest. I know almost nothing about Rebirth's ending, and I hope it stays that way until I get there. But in my opinion, this ending is unsatisfying, and the more time goes on, the more I feel that this ending would have been fine if Advent Children and the rest of the OG timeline didn't exist. I'm probably going to get flayed alive for this, but because the original compilation of FF7 exists, it's a triple negative. If Remake and Rebirth were the only additions to FF7 that ever existed, this would be fine. And then I also gave a negative to the outro. 44 story negatives. Oh boy, here we go. Oh, gameplay positives now. Oh, I'm going to try not to spend too much time on this because I've already been here for an hour and 20 minutes. But let's get through this as fast as we can. Music, triple positive. I don't think I need to justify myself on that. There's a bunch of songs that I gave multiple positives to. The Prelude, triple positive. Opening and bombing mission, triple positive. I gave a positive to Tifa's theme, Barrett's theme. They're both good. Fight On and the boss theme. Got a triple positive. I went with the Spotify, what Spotify labels them as, so just as a heads up. I like the Shinra theme, even in gameplay. Aerith's theme, yes. Infiltrating Shinra, as in the song, that's a good one. Trail of Blood, I absolutely love the chase. I'll admit, this is me being a bit of a fanboy, but I love the chase. It's such a good song, and there's some good remixes on Spotify. I recommend seeking them out. Then there's the first world map theme, also known as the main theme, triple positive. Electric to Chocobo, the Chocobo battle theme. Love that song. And absolutely adore that song. We are not that far, so I'm going to skip over to the next few songs and just yes. Because I love this song. Electric to Chocobo. It's my favorite Chocobo theme in the franchise. No joke. Then there's the Genova theme. I like Listen to the Cries of the Planet for the Forgotten City. Attack of Weapon. I really like that song. 2 positives. I like Highwind Takes to the Sky. The second world map theme, the Northern Cave. I really like Birth of a God, which is the Bizarro Sephiroth fight. Right, and that's about it. I did give One Wing Angel a positive, as I said, up in the story. The spell effects are awesome. I love this. I gave a triple positive to the summon animations, and then I gave some positives to specific summons. I really like Odin in this one. I like how cool and powerful Bahamut is. Ditto Neo Bahamut. I gave a triple positive to Phoenix for its utility. And then Bahamut Zero is my favorite in the entire series. He's powerful, he looks amazing, and feels epic in a way that FF would try and fail to replicate. Sorry, fans of FF10 and FF16 in Bahamuts. I've never thought that... I honestly never thought that FF10's Bahamut was that cool. As I described then, I was just like, yeah, okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, the folded arm, the bipedal folded arms look is kind of cool, kind of funny. I mean, it looks cool, but I don't know, it just didn't do it for me, I understand why it is there, and I'm pretty sure I didn't give negatives to it. But at least I freaking hope I didn't, because that would be just terribad. Hang on. Give me a second. Let's see. Nope, I didn't give it on the story negatives. No. Looks like I did not. Which is good. Because, I shouldn't. And have. So no. FF10's Bahamut didn't get any positives or negatives from me. There you go. But yeah, Bahamut 0, triple positive for me. Then there's the combat animations in general, triple positive. Then there's the limit break mechanic. I love the limit break mechanic. I know a lot of people prefer overdrive. I like the limit break mechanic here. Oh, then there's the limit breaks I gave positives to. Cross slash-ish. The cool looking and the paralysis. Climb Hazard. I love how it looks and it does good damage. Omni Slash. Come on, it's iconic. Gotta give Omni Slash props. Satellite Beam. Really like the... It does... It might not make much sense, but I'm a sucker for giant lasers that wreck the enemy shit. Then there's Catastrophe, which again is just a big multi-hitting laser attack, which is awesome. Which actually makes more sense than Satellite Beam, weirdly enough. Then there's Great Gospel. Invincibility and a Mega Elixir. Come on, of course I'm gonna love that. Then there's Dynamite. Light a stick of dynamite with your cigarette. That's cool. I like that. Then there's High Wind. Video game logic at its finest. Which also led to me giving a triple positive for Viscerality. Which is also helped by the fact that I honestly like the aesthetics of the weapons. In particular, Cloud, Barret, Vincent, and Sid. I like the Cloud's Ultima weapon. I know some people don't like it gets weaker as you lose health, but Then again, I'm also of the opinion that I hate the idea of the other one. But there it is. I like Missing Score, despite the questionable way you acquire it. I mean, do you love mastering materia like I do? Put some master materia with high AP and watch the enemies cry. Love it. Even on the gameplay, I feel Disc 1 has some excellent pacing. Triple positive there. Then you got the materia system. Oh, hell yes. So, the materia system in general, triple positive. Mastering materia, triple positive. And all the builds you can do with the materia, triple positive. Yes, yes, all of the yes. As you bet your ass I gave 9 positives. Hell yeah. Then I was going to give multiple positives to materia that I liked, but I only came up with one individual materia that other than the summons, obviously, that I actually really like. Quadramagic. So get this. The paired materia is used 4 times in a row on 1 MP charge. Okay? So what that means is, let's say you have a spell that costs you 150 MP, right? Those 4 casts with Quadramagic cost you 150 MP. Period. That's awesome. Also, If it is a summon materia, as I demonstrated with Bahamut Zero, by accident, ironically enough, it is separate from the summon charges. So, let's say you have both Bahamut Zero and Quadramagic at level 1. Bahamut Zero can be called 5 times. 4 from the Quadramagic, from the signal Quadramagic use, and once from his Materia's limit. And since the max level of both is 5, well, do the math. 25 times. The only exception to this, because this would just be fucking broken, is Knights of the Round. But considering you're doing like 130 damage, 120 to 130 damage, yeah, I don't think they want you one-shotting the weapons in a stupidly easy combo. You know? Yeah, love Quadramagic. Then there's gameplay story integration. Triple positive there. The atomization was a triple positive. I know it gets a little near the end, but I don't care. Enemy AI, encounter design was a triple positive. I like the dungeon design. The enemy variety was a triple positive. I love the overworld design. That's a triple positive for me. Quality of life is through the goddamn roof. Triple positive. I love these menus. These are my favorite menus in all of JRPGs. I'm not even going to. I'm not even going to. And there's just something kind of fun about all that. I love when menus are easy to navigate. Trails might actually get some added positives for its menus too, if we ever audit those. I also like the battle interface, the built-in cheats. I give the sound design of this game a triple positive because of course I do. I like the visual distinction. I never actually get lost, and there's also the toggleable arrows that help, which, yeah. Then there's Beginner's Hall, which is easily ignorable if you don't need it, which is good. I always give positives to skippable tutorials. Good stuff. Which could be because the game has good tutorialization. So, yeah, triple positive for the tutorialization. 2 positives for info in game, 3 positives for the power progression curve, 3 positives for the core combat, 3 positives for the Zen of leveling. Also, I like that there are several well-placed leveling spots throughout the game. Hey, they're sparse enough to be lucrative, but not feel mandatory. So, good. The Fort Condor defense minigame is hated, and I will never understand why. I feel it is a good minigame. Screw you. That's about all I can say to that. I love catching and breeding chocobos. Yes, it's a bit but at the same time, I really like it. That's just fun for me, you know? Now we get into... So that's it for minigames and individual mechanics and everything. 136 positives just on all of that. Think about that for a second. Then there's Mako Reactor 1, which is a great warm-up dungeon that eases you into the game nicely. I like Guard Scorpion as the tutorial boss. That's 2 positives there. Airbuster got a positive for being fun. And I enjoy Wall Market, even though it is a little walkthrough-itis-y. And I absolutely adore infiltrating Shinra HQ. That is just fun. And I enjoy the sample H0512. Who I actually really like that boss fight. That's the one where Red 13 joins your party. Then there's 100 Gunner and Heli Gunner, which were just a great fight. Uh, Cloud versus Rufus, really like that one-on-one fight. Right. I love the G-Bike minigame. Absolutely love that minigame. Yes. Any of the mandatory minigames I just kind of put in the actual like order that they appear. Because I feel like that just worked better, you know? I also enjoyed fighting Motorball. Oh. So then the intro, even from a gameplay perspective, I feel is really good. Upon reflection, I think it's a good spot for its endpoint. The end of Midgar is a good spot for the endpoint. Game mechanics have been introduced, and very little is yet to be tutorialized, namely blue materia and gaining new limit breaks. Although what's funny is you technically can learn of blue materia because of the all materias already. And it's possible you may have learned through just playing the game about learning new limit breaks. And it does a good job of getting you used to the gameplay before thrusting you out into the world. So, yeah, this is easily my favorite intro in the series, full stop. And, yeah, it's a triple positive. Then there are no more positives until we get to Genova Birth, which, as an introduction to the Genova fights, is actually really good. I like the Barrett versus Dine boss fight. I feel that's a good solo fight. I enjoy Chocobo racing. It is a triple positive. I know some people don't, and that's your prerogative. But I love Chocobo racing. Then there's the optional fight against Reno and Root at Gungaga. That was a fun fight. I like Lost Number. Originally, I was going to give Lost Number a triple positive, but then I thought, that's a bit much, too. Materia Keeper. I love fighting Materia Keeper. Genova Life. The Aerith's Death boss. Love that fight. It doesn't suffer from tonal whiplash as Aerith's theme continues to play during it, and the water ring you get in the Forgotten Capital makes you immune to water attacks, so there you go. Then there's the Twin Head Izo, which is a fun challenge. I like fighting Genova Death, which is funny because this is a gag. Hey, the gag there's a gag in this thing because a lot of these positives as it is and negatives were written in the original review. So when I say you can't sleepwalk through the fight or type about it while fighting her without interruption, that was what was happening to me during the initial run. I was trying to type out Genova Death's positive, but I was still in the middle of fighting Genova Death. And thus, I kept having to be like, oh shit! during it. Then there's the weapon attack on Junon, which even from a gameplay perspective is fun, if a bit short, and works well at utilizing the limited party. In gameplay, I think the Tifa vs. Scarlet slap fight is satisfying. Because, you get to hit the button to slap the shit out of that arrogant cunt. So good, Now, yes, all you're doing is pushing a button, but it's not meant to be deep mechanically. It's just meant for you to get your frustration out on Scarlet's bullshit. Especially if you're a big fan of Tifa, which I know a lot of people are. Then there's the Ancient Forest, simple to figure out puzzles and yields some excellent rewards. And then there's Carry Armor, who gets a bad rap, but unlike the Fort Condor minigame, yeah, I can actually see why for this one. For me, though, I like it because A, I rely on summons, and summons trivialize this fight, and B, you can kill the arms that trap your party members fairly quickly, and, oh yes, unlike those fucking engine room tentacles from FF6, they don't have a fuck ton of HP while absorbing shit and killing your party. the arms can do the latter. It's just much slower, and they're just much slower in doing so, giving you time to beat them. So there you go. Diamond Weapon will basic is a fun little battle that shows how powerful the weapons are, and honestly, I love the battle. And in hindsight, I feel it's good. And in hindsight, I feel it is a good fight, and the second best weapon fight next to Emerald Weapon. So 2 positives there. Proud Claude is a fun fight, even if it is aggravating story-wise. Then there's Hojo's fight, which is just cathartic as hell. So despite the fact that he's got a status effect fetish, it's very easily to be guarded from all status effects by that point. So, yeah, even so, he's a triple positive. Then there's Emerald Weapon, who is fun, unlike Ultimate Weapon, is actually a great optional boss fight. Difficult, yet rewarding, so double positive there. Then there's Genova Synthesis, which is a great cap-off to the Genova fights, 2 positives. I like Bizarro Sephiroth, I feel he is fun, triple positive. And Savior Sephiroth is fun, has an amazing song, and has enough variety in his attacks, and, well, yes, Supernova is a glorified demi, I still like it. I enjoy taking Sephiroth down, which is why the fight easily earns 2 positives. Then there's the final cutscene battle between Cloud and Sephiroth 1v1, which is just cathartic and gives you a chance to see Omnislash if you either weren't able to or didn't bother getting it. The outro, as well, is fun for me. I like the final dungeon, the rewards are nice, and I even like the final battles a lot. Also, I find this game extremely replayable to the tune of a triple positive. Now let's get into the negatives. 193 positives. God damn, that's a lot of gameplay positives. Took me 20 minutes to get through all of that, and as I was just trying to slam them out as quickly as possible. Jeez. Let's get through the negatives, because there are a few negatives, as you saw. So, the modern ports have some really obnoxious control issues, and sometimes the button inputs are way too sensitive. It drives me up a goddamn wall. There's walkthrough-itis at times, which, with Wall Market coming to mind immediately. Disc 2 has some bad pacing, even on the gameplay. I feel like the difficulty curve is all over the place. And there's spikes at specific intervals, and it kind of gets irritating, you know? There's a boss fight we'll be describing in a bit that is a prime example of this. Then there's the grind walls, which are all over the place. Several times you will have to grind either level or, more commonly, money. The biggest offenders are the Chocobo lure near the beginning, the missable things in mid-deal, and a certain boss we'll talk about in negative number 37. Then there's the enemies known as Unknown on the Galinka, which are literal walking status effect fetishes. Not helped that at times, like in the Galinka, the encounter rate is way too damn high. I really hate the status effects Frog and Minnie, as I feel they are really annoying and cause a lot of issues. It makes going through areas with frog encounters all the more frustrating, and the battle arena can be annoying if either of this pop up on okay, that's my bad word choice again. If either of these pop up on the handicap roulette. I gave a negative to Ultima. It disappoints me. It's strong, make no mistake, but I just don't feel powerful using it. I don't like it visually or audibly. And while it's not rampant, backtracking is still there a few times, and it can make it. I'm going to reword this, can make the trek obnoxious. Like doing the Stolen Materia side quest on Disc 1, for example. Then there's Vincent's limit breaks, which honestly, in my opinion, are worthless AF. First, there's Galleon Beast being the worst for when you can first get him, and because the boss of Mount Nibel, Materia Keeper, is healed by the attack it does the most. Hellmaster, his level 3, is only useful against trash mobs, and the other two are fine, except for the biggest problem with them, which is you have zero control over Vincent while he is in those forms. Also, they last in the entire rest of the battle, so yeah, triple negative there. Then there's Red 13's Limit Break Howling Moon, which is literally just putting him in a berserk state. Yes, you can have a ribbon on, which then just I think it boosts his attack, either his attack or his attack percentage, and that's it. And that's kind of terrible. Then there's Slots, which was a triple negative, because you can literally fuck yourself into a game over with it. God, I hated that. Then there's Premium Heart, Tifa's ultimate weapon, which honestly kind of sucks when you actually know how it works. In fact, I think it really sucks. See, it only has power if she has a limit bar. If it's empty, then she does less than normal damage. Gimmick weapons should be a bonus, not the ultimate weapon. Fuck Premium Heart, it sucks, triple negative. Then there's the minigame Moghouse, which is just way too simple and way too boring, as you literally use a single button. I've seen kids' games at arcades with way more depth, you know? And I mean like 2 button. I've seen like 2 button arcade games. Arcade games that are for kids use like 2 buttons and have way more depth than Moghouse. It's ridiculous. Then there's the Speed Coaster, which, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. This is the worst minigame in the game in FF7. It may be optional, but that still doesn't save it from being awful. The shooting is wonky. The power drain is unclear on how much it affects. And the rewards are literal gutter trash. Like, seriously, look up Speed Coaster's rewards sometime. You literally will look at that and go, wow, that's fucking pointless. Then there's arm wrestling, which just feels like it eats way too much. Now, while I do stand behind the large amount of praise I've given the menus and the slight praise I've heaped on the combat interface, the Chocobo interface can eat my entire ass. It is clunky, it is unintuitive, and just requires too many clicks to be enjoyable. Try feeding a Chocobo you're raising 99 of a single green sometime and you'll see the issue. And it's not just feeding, eating. Mating, releasing, and even moving Chocobos into your stables is more of a hassle than it's worth. So I needed to comment on that. Then there's racing against Teo. You know, the black Chocobo that's ridden by the jockey Joe. It honestly feels like the game cheats with him, and it just feels unfair. Here, when he shows up, expect to lose, because you probably will. Then there's getting the Chocobo breeding info from the Choco Sage, which is just a fucking chore, because you basically have to go off and do other shit for him to remember, which is just, ugh. You can do it, it's just irritating. Then there's Cloud's Pass from a gameplay perspective, which I absolutely hated. Only 28 negatives for presentation, by the way. Presentation and minigames and stuff. Cloud's past has kind of irritates me from a gameplay perspective, as I feel it drags on way too long. I really do feel like it should have just been a collection of cutscenes and not had any gameplay whatsoever. My opinion. Then there's Bottom Swell, which is, in my opinion, just a sucky boss fight. I don't like Bottom Swell. I feel he's annoying. Then there's the CPR minigame, which honestly, yeah, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, yeah, let's give this a triple negative because I fucking hate this thing. Ugh. It's boring. It's unclear of the best way to handle it, as Priscilla does not have an air gauge. And finally, point 3, it's forced on you. So, yeah. Ugh. If the speed coaster didn't exist, the CPR minigame would easily be the worst in the game. Then there's the Temple of the Ancients, which is a difficulty spike from hell, on top of it being an annoying dungeon. The encounters are annoying, it has monster chests, and it can be confusing to navigate. Then there's Palmer as a boss fight, which is just frankly insulting with how fucking easy he is. I know it's meant to be a breather after Materia Keeper, but ugh. I hate that laugh. Wait, did I screw up? Oh shit, I did. I actually have the Temple of the Ancients as a dungeon in the wrong spot. Give me a second. Just go here. There we go. But yeah, I stand behind that one. So yeah, Palmer's insultingly easy. Then there's the Stolen Materia side quest. Oh, fuck. For me, the Stolen Materia side quest is the worst section, hands down. You lose all your materia, Yuffie gives you the runaround the entire time. The best reward is another side quest, and the boss of this section is cheap as fuck. Triple negative. I also gave a separate negative to Raps himself, because God, I fucking hate that boss. Then there's the boss gauntlet for Yuffie at Godo's Pagoda. I really don't like fighting that. And then there's fighting Godo himself. Ugh. By himself, you basically gotta fight all of those bosses in that side quest with just Yuffie, and that sucks. No, see below, yeah. Alright. I've already mentioned the Temple of the Ancients. Demon Wall. Oh, fuck. You knew Demon Wall was going to be a triple negative. Jesus Christ. You want to talk a difficulty spike? Jesus Christ, Demon Wall. Powerful attacks. It attacks often, and it hits like a fucking freight train. No, not a truck. A truck at least has at least a chance of leaving you alive. When people complain about grind walls in this game, this is the boss they're referring to. Do I even need to say that this is a triple? Then there's the snowboarding minigame, which, okay, actually, I'm wrong. CPR is the third worst, because, oh god, I hate snowboarding in this game. I mean, it controls bad, in my opinion. And the required version takes way too goddamn long and is just plain boring. I mean, the variant in Gold Saucer is better, but not by much. Triple negative. Then there's the Great Glacier, which is, until you get to Gaia's Cliff, if the maze design in the encounter rate being too high and it just being hard to navigate is just stupid. Then there's Ultimate Weapon, which fighting him is a frickin' chore, as you have to find him after Mediel blows up. Up and actually, I think you need to. It's after Rocket Town, after the Shinra 26 thing, that you have to do. So it's either after the Shinra 26 thing or after Diamond Weapon shows up, and it sucks because you have to chase him all over the map. You have to ram him with the high wind, and then fight him in the location that is based on RNG. So, if you're trying to steal shit from him, good luck. Look, it's all based on where you find him. And then he runs from those battles till his cumulative HP runs low, much like Death Gaze in FF6. You get good rewards, and the aforementioned cumulative HP are the only things that keep him from multiple negatives. Unlike Ruby Weapon, who is just frickin' annoying with his gimmicks and his high defense. If you aren't cheesing him with stuff like Knights of the Round, then good fucking luck. Look, then there's the fact that he takes practically no damage before digging his tentacles into the ground, which can be hurt, and like Emerald's Eyes, it can drain your HP and MP, which sucks. I have always hated fighting Ruby Weapon, and thus it is worth a triple negative to cap it off, for gameplay negatives at 57. So there we go. That is my audit of Final Fantasy VII, and that was about as long as I took last time. Wow. I mean, I did have to explain myself on a few points, and I guess I did go off on a couple of tangents, and there was that distraction with my stack of discs falling, so meh. Regardless, that's all I have for today. Hey, next up on the docket is Dirge of Cerberus, and hey, I'll be caught up. Cool. Until next time, Blue Wolf Alex of the Lore Walkers signing out. Have a good one. Later.